This video is to help you get started in College Algebra Math 1111 online for the summer of 2013. I'm Mr. Rutherfoord and I'm your instructor. Let's first of all look at the syllabus. Now the syllabus is attached to the email that you got for this video, and hopefully you've printed it out, or if not, I'll go through it here and then you can print it out later and reference it. The important things are, first of all, to know what the course is. It is online, so we're not going to meet in class except for one time, and that is for the final exam. The final exam will be a proctored exam in class. Everything else is online, and we'll be using Mymathlab. I'll go through that in a minute on how to get started and how to sign on. What's here in the course syllabus, obviously, is how to reach me. The best way to reach me is to use my email. I do have an office, but I'm in and out of the office quite often, so the best way to reach me is by email. I monitor that from home, including weekends, and I'm there to help you whenever I can. I do have office hours Tuesday and Thursday between 2 and 3 o'clock. If you want to come in and see me, send me an email first so that I know you're coming, so I make sure I'm there. What's required for the course is the license for Mymathlab. The textbook is optional. Now I think it's very helpful, especially if your learning style is such that you like to look at the book and you can use the book for help. I will show you though in a few minutes how Mymathlab has help within it. You can also access the textbook electronically through Mymathlab. So if money is an issue, which it is for most of us, you can bypass buying the book and you can use the online version. We'll be signing up in a minute for Mymathlab. You'll notice the Mymathlab course ID is my last name, and be careful spelling it. I spell it a little differently. There are 2 O's in Rutherfoord. 91214. That is the course code that will get you into the summer online 1111 course that you signed up for. Okay, let's go down and look at other things that are in the syllabus. The course description is pretty much self-explanatory. Those are the topics we're going to go over in this course. Grading scale, though, I think everyone's interested in that. The homework is going to be 15% of your grade. The tests, which are online, are 55% of your grade. The final exam, though, which is in class, is 30% of your grade. So that's how your grading is going to break down. Now, attendance policy, obviously, attendance is really defined on an online course as having been online, and that shows up in Mymathlab, so I can see when you're online and when you aren't. It's important, though, with an online course that you stay current with the assignments. You will have an assignment each week, and that assignment is then due at the end of the week period. So if we're starting on a Thursday, which we are, then the first assignment will come up on Thursday, and it'll be due the following Thursday. If you miss an assignment and you don't get it in on time, you can still go back and work on that assignment, but there'll be a 15% reduction on the work that you do after the due date. So you will be penalized for doing work late. The reason for that, obviously, is you need to stay current. This is not a course that you can do in the last week of the semester. So stay current with it. Because of the late policy, you can still work on homework. There are no makeups for homework. If you have a valid excuse, like you're in the hospital or something has happened, let me know on tests. But tests are also open for 1 week. You have 3 tries on a test. Now the philosophy behind that is one that I've had for a number of years. I believe that a test in math traditionally has been a cause of a lot of anxiety. I'd rather you look at a test as an opportunity to measure yourself against what you have learned. Use it as your own tool. So the first time you take the test, it's to answer for yourself, what is it I have mastered in this last few weeks of the course, and what do I still need to learn to make sure that I've mastered as much as I need to. The second time you take your test, then, your test grade will go up. Now with MyMathLab, it changes the question slightly every time you take a test. It's not a different question, but the numbers in the question may be changed. So it's not a matter of just learning the answer from the first time you take it and then try to take it again. The answers will be different. And you have a third time just to take the pressure off the second time. The highest of the three scores will be the score that you get in the gradebook, and that means then you do not have to take it all three times if you don't wish to, but that's an option. Okay, so let's go down further here. Some of these things only apply to classrooms. The no-show policy, for an online course, the no-show policy is that if you do not sign on to MyMathLab, register for MyMathLab, and start working on the first assignment within the first 3 days of the course, then you will be dropped as a no-show. So that means that for Thursday, Monday, and Tuesday, you must have signed on to MyMathLab and have started working on the first assignment. Otherwise, you may be dropped as a no-show. The withdrawal policy, it's not March 19th. It's in the calendar on the main page of Chattahoochee Tech website, but you should look at that and know what the drop date is. It should be sometime late June, early July, and you do not want to go past that date if, by your consideration, you'd rather wait and take this course again. Okay? So watch for that drop date. The class schedule and assignments are in MyMathLab. You do need to have a student email account. That's the account that the school gives you, and the school wants us to all use that. Now, when you sign on to MyMathLab, if you've had problems with your school email account, then go ahead and use your private email account, since all correspondence will go through my email account at the school, and we still will have a record of that. But I do need you to have a valid email account so that I can correspond with you if you have a problem. So make sure you use that. I think the rest of the academic integrity, you ought to read through that, know that those are the college rules. With an online course, obviously there are issues, so you want to make sure you're doing your own work. With a final that's 30% of your grade, you want to make sure you come in here having done all your own work and understanding what the content of this course is. Okay, let's take a look at how you register for the course in MyMathLab. And to do that, what you want to do is go to the school website. That's www.chattahoocheetech.edu. And this is the website that comes up when you're a student. Now, to get to MyMathLab, you want to go across the top all the way over to Me at CTC. That's the last entry over here on the right-hand end. So Me at CTC, if you just run your mouse over it, a menu opens up, and down here you'll find Pearson Mymathlab. It's one of the entries. To go there, just run down with your mouse, click on Pearson Mymathlab. And this is the screen that comes up. Now, when you sign on after you register, you're going to go to sign in. But before then, you have to register. So you go to the second set of entries here, and you register as a student. So click on Student. Now this is where you need the course ID for this course. If you remember, that was in the syllabus. bring that back up. It's at the top, and it's right here, Mymathlab course ID, Rutherfoord 91214. So on the registration page, we're going to type in 91214, Rutherfoord 91214, and then click on Continue. Now, if you've used Mymathlab in the past, and you remember your username and password, you can key that in here. What that does for you is it will go ahead and get all of your information from the last time you used Mymathlab. If you can't remember that, or if this is the first time you're using Mymathlab, then come over here and use the Create to create a new account. Here's where you put in your email address. Remember, you want an email address where I can reach you easily. Your username, your password, re-enter password. Most of this will be familiar to you. It's pretty well standard on how you do things on the internet. Your first name and last name. Now that's important that you use a first name and last name that's the same as your banner first name, last name. This sometimes becomes an issue when somebody gets married and hasn't changed their name. So make sure that you're using your banner names. Security question, security answer, and then accept the license agreement, and then it'll go on to where you can register for the course. Now, if you went to the bookstore and bought a license for Mymathlab, then you will already have a license and it'll ask you to enter the code. If you haven't, then you can use a credit card to enter and start right away. If you are in a situation where you are waiting for financial aid to come through and you don't have the funds right now, what you want to do is on the page where it's asking you to register with either a code or a payment, scroll to the bottom. Sometimes it doesn't show up fully on the browser. So scroll to the bottom and you'll see within a paragraph down there where it talks about the ability to have 17 days of usage for free while you're waiting for the payment. Now that doesn't get you out of having to pay for it, but it does get you started in the course. So there should be no excuse for not getting started in the course. If you have to, use the 17-day extension and make sure that you pay for it before that runs out. It'll keep reminding you every time you sign on. Okay, so that gets you into Mymathlab. Now let me show you what Mymathlab looks like once you sign on. So that first sign on screen, if you've now created your user ID and password and you sign on to the course, this is the screen that will come up once you click on the course. There are several things on here I want you to look at. The menu on the left-hand side is where everything is. The homework, if you click on that, well, first of all, before you do that, what's up here at the top, across the top, is a calendar that scrolls to tell you what's coming up. That green circle that you see there is the first assignment. And if I put my mouse on that green circle, what I notice is several things are coming up. Assignment 1. Now by the time you look at this video, it'll probably be available. Right now it's not available until the 6th. Assignment 1. Now the basics of math, understanding fractions, and assignment 1 are 3 videos. Now I will be making videos throughout this course and adding them in. The reason is I believe that the one thing missing in an online course, the obvious thing that's missing, is your instructor. And with math, many people need a coach. So what I'll be doing is I'll be adding videos as we go through the course that are similar to the things I do in class. So if you need help, you can look at the videos. So for instance, the basics of math is a short overview of the real basics of how math works that I give every one of my classes the first day of class. Fractions, I have found that over time we forget what a fraction really is. We teach it well in the elementary grades, but then when you get to junior and senior high school, it becomes something that you manipulate by inverting and multiplying and canceling and all kinds of other stuff that don't really make much sense if you don't remember what the top and the bottom really mean. So I've got a little video on fractions, which students have said is very helpful. And then assignment 1, I pick a few problems out of assignment 1 and I go through them, not for the purpose of just doing the problem, but for the purpose of explaining the math behind how you do those problems. So if you're looking at assignment 1, you may want to look at the video first, or you may want to try the assignment and then come back and look at the video. But either way, the video should be helpful to you. Now, to get into the homework, you click on the homework entry here. Now right now nothing will come up because there aren't anything assigned. But this is where those homeworks will come up. And when it comes up, you click on the homework you want to work on and it'll take you right into the homework itself. When it comes time for a test, what you're going to see is that assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3 come by and then all of a sudden there's no assignment 4. That's because assignment 4 is a test. So let's go back to that calendar and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is where assignment 1 came up. Now if I scroll to the next week in June, you'll see on this Thursday, assignment 1 is due. Now that's the last day that you can get 100% on the problems on assignment 1. After that, anything you do will be deducted 15%. Only on what you do after the date, not the whole assignment, just what you're doing. Now assignment 2 is going to come up then on next Thursday, the 13th. Going forward from there, on the 20th, assignment 2 is due, assignment 3 comes up. The following week, assignment 3 is due, but notice now we have a diamond shape. Well, a diamond shape says test 1 is coming up. So test 1 will come up on June 27th. Clicking forward, it'll be due on July 4th. Okay? Now, I know that's a holiday, so what you need to do is schedule to get that done before July 4th if you don't want to be working on it on the holiday. Assignment 5 then comes up on that Thursday, and it's to be worked on during that following week. To get to the tests, obviously you click on quizzes and tests, and it's the same type of web page that you had for homeworks. These sample tests and quizzes, some students find them helpful. They're not part of your grade. I don't require you to do those, but if you want extra work, sometimes that's something that'll help you. It will not affect your grade. Something that students don't use quite often, but they should, is the gradebook. In the gradebook, all of the assignments that you have done will show up. Obviously nothing's there yet. But as you finish assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, the test, and so forth, it'll all show up in here. Now the tests, once that week is through, it's closed. You can't do the test late unless you have a valid excuse and you've gotten hold of me. But you can go back in and review a test at any time. And what you're going to do is go to Gradebook, and in front of the test, you'll see in blue a link for review. If you click on review, it'll open the test. If you want to print it, you just go to the first problem, and you'll see an option up there to print. So you can print those out if you want to use them for review. They're helpful for studying. Some of these other things, I want you to look through them. They're extra help, extra videos, things to do. Student Solution Manual can be helpful. Tools for Success, talk about how to study. Also, how to use the graphic calculator. So if you have the TI-8384 calculator, which is required for the course, you're going to see ways to use it here. You'll also see in some of the videos I'm going to do for you ways to use the calculator. But there's a lot of good information there on the calculator. Multimedia library, that is where you go if you want to see the textbook itself. So for instance, if I wanted to go into Chapter 1 and I wanted to look at the graphs and graphing utilities section in the multimedia textbook. Now that's the online version of the hard copy textbook. There's the actual page out of the textbook, and you can read it there. So if you don't want to buy the textbook, here it is. This is the actual textbook. Okay. One of the things that we are going to be required to do as an online course is use the discussion board. And you'll notice that down here we have something called discussions. And I've added the first topic, and the first topic is homework questions, and I've put a comment there called instructions. So if you go into discussions and you want to look at what is already there, you can hit expand all, and the instructions are to ask a question, give the assignment number and the number of the problem within the assignment. If you wish to comment on someone else's post, go ahead if you can help them. So it's all right to communicate one with the other. Obviously, we've got rules of etiquette when you're on a discussion board, but I think everybody's an adult here, so we'll be okay there. But go ahead and help each other if you can, if you get to it before I do. But I will be looking at this discussion board quite often to try to help out with any questions on homework. Okay? So you can click on respond if you want to respond to my instructions, or up there at the top, if you click on respond, you can add your own comment, and that's where you would add a discussion head that says, I'm having problems with problem 1 and homework assignment 1, for instance. Okay? Course tools. Again, I just think you ought to be looking through these things. It looks like we don't have a lot of course tools for this one. Oh, here they are. I'm sorry. Email, chat, class, live, document sharing, and so forth. Okay? All right. Let me go, and I'm going to go through to my version of the homework so that I can show you some things that you're going to be doing on this first homework. So for instance, the Basics of Math video. I want to preview what that looks like. This is what comes up on your homework page. The Basics of Math is a video, so you click on it, and it comes up. Here comes start. This is actually coming from YouTube. In this session, we're going to talk about the basics of math. Like any other subject, it's important to understand the basics before you get started. If you're going out for a sport, you want to know the rules of the sport before. So you see that that's a video just like the one I'm making for you right now. So you're a video within a video. But at any rate, so you see how those work. And I will be continuing those throughout the course as things come up. Now, when you start asking questions on the discussion board, one of the questions you ask may actually say to me, I need to do a video for this topic rather than just answer it on the discussion board. And if that's the case, then I'll do that and I'll add it to the list and you'll be able to look at it. But I'll reference it through the discussion board so you know I did it. Okay? So I think that pretty well covers everything for the course. If you have any questions, obviously now you know how to use the discussion board. Please use that to let me know of anything else that I missed in this video and anything else that you'd like to know. The email that came with this video has a copy of the syllabus on it as well as the link to this video. So hopefully you'll have everything